You're listening to The Ride to Work with Pastor Fred. Fuel for your faith before you clock in. Enjoy the ride.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for The Ride to Work. It is Wednesday. We're right smack dab in the middle of it all of this week. We're right there in the middle, dealing with our character studies this week. Today, we're talking about why does it feel like everybody else is winning? Which means that you may be feeling like you're losing. Our character that we're referencing this morning is Asaph. Asaph. You'll find Asaph in Psalm 73. Psalm 73. And my question is this. Have you ever looked around and wondered why people doing everything wrong seem to be doing everything right? Think about that question for a minute. You ever looked around and you just wondered, they're doing everything that it's just wrong, but it seems like because of what they're receiving in the end, that they're actually doing everything right. You see, one of the quickest ways to lose peace, or to lose, let's personalize it, to lose your peace, is comparison, is to compare, watch this, your reality to somebody else's appearance. That's the quickest way. I mean, what does it say? Comparison is the thief of joy. That's the quickest way, comparing you to somebody else's appearance. See, Asaph was he was struggling with something a lot of people struggle with today: comparison. There's that word. He looked around and saw people who were dishonest succeeding, people who were arrogant, prospering, people who ignored God, but they were advancing. Meanwhile, here I am, or here he is, should I say, but I'm going to put us in there. He trying to do the right thing and still got all these difficulties that he has to face. Think about it. All these difficulties, when you trying to stay the course, you staying on the straight and narrow, you doing the best you can by everybody, and it seems like, this is the plan, this is what's supposed to happen, but it's not rewarding you with what you think, or should I say what you see, folk who ain't doing good, folk who's not doing their best, folk who's just doing whatever they want to do, not even pleasing to God, praising God, or anything, honoring God in anything, but their reward seems great. In actuality, you just looking at it just seems greater than yours. You're comparing your reality to their appearance. And that's a bad thing to do. And Asaph was doing that, and it frustrated him. It frustrated him. And I know sometimes, if we're honest, that could feel real unfair. I get it. I get it. You see people in positions, knowing that, man, how in the world they're in this position? How in the world they were able to pull this? Or how they got in that position? And was it through hard work, struggle, or anything like that? They're not qualified for that position? It could feel unfair. It can. It can. They're cutting corners, that whole cutting corner syndrome to get ahead. And it seems like that's what's happening to them. They're getting ahead. They're doing wrong, but prospering. Manipulating, but what they're doing, but they're succeeding. And we're sitting here wondering, like, what am I doing wrong? Come on, I know we've been there. You can be honest. Look, we can be honest this morning, because I know you. What am I doing wrong? And then you look on social media, and that is just amplified on social media, man. Gee whiz. They just flossing all over the place, and you looking like, how in the world? when I'm sitting here struggling to pay a light bill, to pay a mortgage, to pay some rent. I'm sitting here trying to find a lick or two, somebody, with some stamps. Come on, let's talk now. But they just flossing, and I know they just up the ill-gotten games. No good. But it seems like nothing's happening. Nothing's happening, because look, when you're looking at social media, you're not even just comparing yourself to people you start comparing yourself to thousands and thousands of people who really, to be honest, they edited their lives. And I say edited, which means that's not really their reality. That's not really some of their reality. It's not. That's just a highlight reel. That's what I call them anyway. They just highlight reel. Okay, they got their highlight reel up. But is that really their reality? See, I could never compare myself to that, because I don't know if that to be true. And then I wouldn't compare myself anyway, because you have to have a spirit of contentment. What I got is what I got. What God gives me is what I got, and I'm satisfied. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I'm content. Yes, I want to thrive and strive to have more, but I just want what God wants for me, because sometimes when you have more than what God wants for you, you end up with less than what you want for yourself. Because God will show you that ain't really what you needed. Think about it. But stop comparing yourselves. Stop comparing yourself, because that creates discouragement. You get discouraged like that, man. And it's really not about, sometimes, can I say this? Most comparison isn't about what others have. It's about what you fear you'll never have. That's what it's about. I'll never reach that goal. I'll never have that much. I'll never be able to do this or that, the promotion, the relationship, the success, the financial freedom. I'll never have that opportunity. I'll never get that breakthrough. Comparison just exposes our insecurities. I'll never this, I'll never that. It brings out just the negativity in you. And here's the hard truth I want you to tell you. What you envy, hear me when I say this, because I mean this. What you envy may come with battles you know nothing about. Stop wishing and wanting for what others have. You don't know the struggle. You don't know the grief. You don't know the pain. You don't know the things that they had to do. You willing to sell your soul? Think about it, because some of them did that. Some of them did that. Look, a lot of us, we're measuring other people's progress, or our progress, should I say, against somebody else's timeline. But God never promised nobody an identical journey. He never did. The way somebody gets there might not be the way the next person gets there. Might not be the way you get there. You see, Asaph, he found peace when he stopped focusing on what others were doing and started focusing on what God was doing. And that's what you got to do. Matter of fact, because he said, look, when I'm paraphrasing, when I looked at the prosperity of the wicked and how good they were doing, he said, this is the one thing that caught me in that story. He said, my foot almost slipped. Man, I almost went there. Almost got caught up. But then I started thinking about what God was doing. That's what you have to do. You have to shift your perspective. Once you change your perspective, that frustration begins losing its power. But you got to change it up. Change it up. Stop counting somebody else's money. I say it like that. Because that's an issue, man, I deal with on a weekly basis, a daily basis when it comes to work. And I'm just going to say that and just be very as vague as I can. But stop counting everybody else's blessings. And start recognizing your own. Start recognizing how blessed you are. That's not your book. That's just not your book. You're measuring your life against somebody else's chapter in their life. And you really don't even have any idea of what chapter they're actually living in. You really don't. Grass isn't always greener. You know that saying. You're just looking at it from a distance. That's what that means. And you know what distance does? Somebody told me this a long time. Distance hides details. That's what distance does. That's why it looks so good. But it's the details are hidden because you're so far away looking at it from a distance. Listen, I'll say this and I'm done. And I'm going to leave on this. You never enjoy your journey if you keep constantly wishing you were on somebody else's. Please remember that. Join us again tomorrow morning. We'll be riding here on the ride to work. Have a great day. God bless.